etc., etc. It was very important to Sue, when we talked about this, that this afternoon was a fun afternoon. I didn't start off too well because the people in the hotel didn't quite get my message. But I think they've got it now, and I think we're going to enjoy ourselves. Although I must say, it's either me of my age, or it's very, very hot in here. Isn't it? Who said it's my age? All right.
Well, like chairs, not so.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow athletes. First of all, I'd like to give you a very big welcome on behalf of myself, Peter, Angela, and all the family. Excuse me, Reverend, but I didn't speak during your church service.
Don't meet the old ones, David.
That's my community, John. Right, thank you very much. First of all, a very big welcome to you all on this sad, but also a very joyous occasion. The reaction from all over the world, and I have to say it is from all over the world, has been nothing short of incredible. Susan passing has moved a lot of people and reflects a high esteem she was held in by all who were lucky enough to have met her. Myself, Peter, Angela, and the family would personally like to thank Stuart for the incredible way in which he has cared for Sue over these last few weeks. Anyway, half an hour to go. He made Sue's life so much easier, and having been involved in a similar situation a few years back, I know it's not easy caring for a loved one under these circumstances. To you, Stuart, and to you, a very big and heartfelt thank you from us all. Sue was quite exceptional. First of all, she was a Petherbridge. Secondly, she had this knack of making friends with anybody she met and all the people she met. Indeed, I wonder if she had any enemies. I'd like to have known them. A measure of Sue's popularity can be seen from an earlier incident. Many years ago, Sue, when she went to the Radcliffe Hospital, she used to come back from the Radcliffe on a weekend, not every weekend, but some weekends. And she used to go down to a hotel in Birmingham called the Imperial. Now, there was a bar there, which I didn't know at the time, certainly later. No, be careful there. Was infamous as a gay bar. But I can assure you it wasn't on this. Anyway, the point of the story is that Sue used to go down there and meet up with a few friends. And after a while, she'd come back to the house, and she'd say to her mother, "Oh, I've got a few friends coming round this evening. Is it all right?" Well, we were fortunate at the time to have a Victorian or Georgian, Peter. You're the lawyer, you tell me. House. Yeah, typical lawyer, doesn't want to commit himself. We've all met them, we've all paid for them as well. Sorely. And we had this cellar, which we'd had done out, and we'd been whitewashed, and then candle stuff and remarks made on the ceiling. That was an old wine cellar. And I have to tell you that by about 10 o'clock at night, there was 150 people there. It's absolutely true. And for the youngsters, this is before Facebook and Twitter was ever thought of. We never had a problem. Our next door neighbour was a doctor. I think she was deaf. If she wasn't, she certainly was after the... No. It's just that I've realised I put in joined up writing people. I'm having a problem. Sue loved writing to people. And she always personalised birthday and Christmas cards with a short note. Very much unlike her phone calls, which have already been commented on, which were legendary in their length. Sue never said, in 2 words what she could say in an essay. She was not just a sister, but she was also someone to whom I could talk frankly about anything. And she was always interested in the life of her nephews and her nieces. Indeed, she enjoyed nothing more than competing with the drinking habits of the boys. And on that you needed me. Not always with the best outcome. And of course, everyone who knows Sue would not forget her dances. Her dancing was legendary. It was straightforward. It was just... But she was there, and Sue would start the evening at 7 o'clock and she'd still be there at 12 o'clock. But she'd still be doing that. I feel very privileged to have been her brother, and I thank her for all the good times she helped to create. As I said earlier, we'd like anybody who's got some little stories or wants to say anything to come up at a later stage. Just come up, I'll announce you, and just talk to us about your experiences with Sue. Don't make it too long. No, don't, seriously, because I thought we were going to have a stage here, but obviously not. Don't make it too long because, you know, like the X Factor, we've got 4 bells, and if they ring, you get off the stage. Let me know if you wish to speak, and I'm very happy to introduce you. I've had 2 letters of condolences. I know there have been hundreds, a lot of letters of condolences. I've talked to Stuart and Peter and Angela, and there've been piles of these. I got 2. Actually, it was quite nice, actually, to not have a bill through the post. And I'd just like to read them. One is from a couple, Ross and Rosie Minchin. Sorry? You were always in trouble at school. Talking out of place, Michael, is not good. Please excuse my son, he's on a day out. He's got to be back at 5. I think that's 40 luck change of oars. This is from Ross and Rosie Minchin. David, we are thinking of you. It must be hard losing such a joy in Sue. She will be missed especially by her family, but also by her friends, that she had such ease in making all around the world. She leaves us with great memories of her fun of life, and that beaming smile that fills you with pleasure forever. Kindest regards from Ross and Rosie Minchin. I believe they're in Perth.
Australia.
Another convict. What was their offence? For those who don't know me, I have been known not to be politically correct. And also, this was another one from Polly, Zoe's sister, and says, "Dear David and family, very sad to hear that Susan has died. She was so full of energy and friendliness. I liked her a lot, although I only met her a few times. Have fond memories of our last meeting in Keswick with you all. I'm thinking of you and send my love." And that, to me, says everything about Sue. There's a lady who met her a couple of times and immediately made an opinion, and then there's the other couple who knew her for years and years, and everybody had the same opinion. Sue, we're going to miss you. I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, our thanks to Charlie, who was organising this from the hotel. I have to say I was a little disappointed when we came in, but my hotel background said, "Don't fret, David, these things can happen." And Julia has taken the reins, and she's looking after us now, and I'm sure she's going to make a good job of it. We're going to have the buffet after the montage, and at about 4 o'clock. Tomorrow. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, being a bit of an academic, sorry, I don't like that. I'd like to give you an appropriate quote from the works of William Shakespeare. Well, for those who know, thank you. Recognition at last. For those who know, it's 400 tomorrow, St George's Day. Well, I'm sorry, Peter, he didn't pay his taxes, did he? I don't know, he wasn't there when I went there. He died 400 years ago. Sorry, did I say? Oh, sorry, yeah. I was just ready to see whether you were listening. Well done, Peter. 4 marks for that. I'd just like to say the President quotes from William Shakespeare, which is relevant today as his close proximity to Stratford. And it comes from All's Well That Ends Well, and it's very short. It just says, moderate lamentation is the night of the dead, excessive grief, the energy of the living. And I think that's very true. Thank you for your attention, and thank you, Sue, for enlivening all of our lives. Rest in peace, my love. God bless you.
Keith?
Brothers first. I'd now like to introduce James, who would just like to say 2 or 3 words before Anna sets the montage off. James Featherbridge.
Good afternoon. Luckily, my speech is shorter than David's.
Yeah, not as good though.
There are a few roles in life that are really important. Parents are really important. Aunts and uncles are really important. And Auntie Sue was a really important auntie. And an auntie is a role a bit like a parent without the constraints that you can ask her questions that you wouldn't necessarily ask your parents, and she can give you answers that your parents wouldn't necessarily give. So Auntie Sue for me helped me understand sport, understand life, and support me in those things. She taught me through the angst of teens, and we were able to share many things, including, in fact, collective experiences from when she went backpacking in New Zealand. We shared cricket together, and more latterly she was an amazing support for me and my children, and it's amazing the connection that she had with children, of all children, who seemed to really warm to her love. One thing that she wasn't so good at was driving. I did answer that, although she was probably the only person with the ability to sit so close to the steering wheel she could steer with her teeth. So I think to Auntie Sue, someone who absolutely saw the best in everyone, I never ever heard her say a bad word about anybody, and that's honestly the truth, and I can't say the same about myself. So, Sue, you're fondly loved and sorely missed. We love you. Praise the Lord.
Well done, James.
Now I know if you'd like to. I was going to say before, but well, that might not be right.
My name is Stan, and I used to be Dr. Darling. And
Struck off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I worked with Sue for more years than I care to remember. I worked at Craigcroft, and Sue came there as a health visitor, probably sometime in the early 1970s, somewhere 70s. And then in the mid-1980s, 1985, I had a fantastic opportunity and was able to go and start a new practice over in Monk's Pass. So I moved from what I often refer to as a lower class ghetto in Chelmsley Wood to the upper class ghetto of South Solihull. Now, I recognised that I needed to put together a pretty good team. So I actually poached Sue. I went to the appropriate authorities in the community house and said, I want Sue to come with me. Which he did. We built we started a porta-cabin, and they actually put on an extra bit of porta-cabin at the back, and Sue came in there and started to deliver her services from there. Now, I've got to be absolutely blunt here and say something about Sue. So as a house visitor, she was bloody brilliant. One of the things that made her stand out was her appreciation of the importance of teamwork. And in those days, we talked about the primary healthcare team. Now, I don't know if that's a term which has gone out of fashion now. It probably has. Life's changed. Life's got busier. But she actually, from her position, that she worked with us in our evolving primary care team. And in many ways, I think that she was the glue that helped to actually bring us together and work together effectively and cooperatively. Now, as I said, I worked with Sue for 30 odd years, maybe one or two more. And you know, I've discovered so much about her today, which I had no idea. All this partying. And I actually discovered that she was a bit older than I was. I always looked at her and thought she was much younger than I was. She was fantastic. I valued her professionalism, and perhaps I didn't know enough about her as a friend. And now, sadly, that's too late. But thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you very much. Yes, of course, your name is?
Thank you.
I'm Pat Spence.
Pat Spence. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Pat Spence.
I was Pat Colbert, and I was a health visitor working with Sue in Chelsea when Stan was there. I left before they moved. But Sue actually introduced me to my husband. So I've got her to make help.
I was going to say, well, you're going to say, blaming her. Sorry about that.
I'm not the old team.
We met at the Varsity Club, and I remember my husband asked me out on a date, and Sue wasn't very happy about it because she liked him as well at the time.
Understandable.
She said to me, if you go out with him, I'm not going to speak to you again. So I said, oh, okay, because she was such a good friend and such a wonderful colleague to work with.
Specsavers after that.
And about 6 months later, she said to me, oh, if you want to go out with him, go out with him now. And we've been together for how long? 37 or 8 years. And I used to meet her for lunch sometimes when she was, over here in this country. And she came out to lunch with us not long before she actually became ill. So I've got a lot to thank Sue for.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Yes, of course.
Just 2 seconds.
1, 2, that's it, finish off.
I worked with Sue in Craycroft, and I was a newly qualified health visitor, and I arrived in the team, and Sue said, this is where you're sitting, this is your desk, there's your drawers, and I opened the drawer, and I went, what's this, Sue? And they'd killed the Provident man, who used to collect debts, in this block of flats I was responsible for. Put his body down the chute, she said. Don't worry, Bev, I'll look after you. And she did.
Thank you very much. Please just feel free if you want to come up whilst you go, and also if you like to sort of move towards the buffet and help yourself. 1 sandwich per person.
That's all done for you.
It's done, George.
All out.
Right, love, they're coming through now.
Okay.